Christian Novels Audiobooks, The Story of Wayne and Jean Vozzolo, the Crosspenny Series, Kisses of Mercy. Episode number 114. Bobby ran across the street from the office to Tony's shed. Soon Mark sprinted back to the office with Bobby just behind him. He picked up the phone and pushed the flashing button. "What's the matter, Gwen?" Mark quickly asked. "Nothing's wrong, Mark. Mrs. Fitzgerald thinks it's a great idea to take Trish to go see her brother and grandparents. I will be out there in a few minutes to pick up Trish so she can get cleaned up and packed. Then in about an hour you could meet us and we'll take the yellow station wagon back to Sunny Hills Nursing Home. Okay? I love you too." Mark replaced the receiver and breathed a sigh of relief that everything was okay with Gwen. "Pregnancy's hard on a fella," he told Bobby, who just burst out laughing. Bobby was glad the office crew came back. Wayne had been right. The phones were busy, but not like he hoped with customers. The early calls came in from guys who had received their letters in the mail on Saturday. "Bobby, 4 of us are riding together and we'll be there this afternoon with our tools. Do I need to bring my tent?" one of the callers asked. "No, got you down for apartment 1, she replied. "But if you've got some cots, some of the guys might need to borrow them. We're going to put the overflow crowd out in Tony's shed." "No, we changed the name from Tony's Misfit Toy Shed to Tony's Shed. You'll see why when you get here." Willie's installation crews called. They would arrive Wednesday morning about noon. The office crew made outbound calls to current clients checking for orders. Oddly enough, the clients all declined. After 6 or 7 of those calls, one of the office workers asked, "Why?" "What? No, we haven't seen the morning paper. There's a big front page article. Thank you for telling me." The phone rang again. It was Matt. "Bobby, is Wayne there or Jean?" "No, Matt. They're making the deliveries, including taking the dried wasabi to those restaurants." "Why?" Bobby asked. "Well, Vozzolo Produce has been slandered like you wouldn't believe on the front page of this morning's paper for selling tainted and poisoned produce. Jonathan and I are headed over to the newspaper office to see the reporter and the editor and then to the DA's office." Bobby took the old white truck and picked up Mark to take him to get the pickup. She told him about the newspaper report and left him at the new truck while she gathered Chester and Eduardo from the field and took them to Tony's shed to have an impromptu meeting with Beth, Carrie, and Willie. Mark took the pickup truck with the camper and the outhouse, then unhitched the trailer with the outhouse closer to the fence crew. Then he quickly cleaned up and packed his green duffel bag and left. Wayne and Jean made the first restaurant stop where the chef was. "I'm so glad you didn't bring a marked truck," he exclaimed when he saw the white truck. "By the way, the wasabi was a major hit at the convention. Do you have the dried wasabi with you?" "Yes, we have cases of it divided for each restaurant's delivery," Wayne replied, "and the all-clear credentials we promised to bring." Wayne handed him a copy of the certificate. The chef looked at the credentials. "Do you realize you have the highest possible government credentials for raising commercial produce in the United States?" "I'm curious, why are you glad that we were in an unmarked delivery truck?" Jean asked. "You haven't seen today's paper?" the chef asked. "Come inside and I'll show you." Wayne and Jean followed the chef as he grabbed the morning paper and handed it to them. "Oh, no," Jean exclaimed as she shook her head. "See the name of that reporter? Do you know who she is?" the chef asked. "No, but I know she certainly did not interview us," Wayne answered, shaking his head. "She's my ex-wife. Guess what produce company owner she started hanging out with a few weeks ago? I just found that out this weekend at the convention." "Keeps getting goodier and goodier, doesn't it, sweetheart?" Wayne said to Jean as he thanked the chef and went back to the truck to unload the day's order. "Jean, the reason I'm glad you're in an unmarked truck is because my customers don't know what I know and my other restaurants know," the chef explained. "And they are all still expecting you in spite of seeing this paper." "I get it." Jean nodded as she followed Wayne to help unload the delivery. "Thanks for the paper." Jean folded the paper and waved it at him. By the time Wayne and Jean unloaded the first delivery, they had quoted Proverbs 21:12 multiple times together. "The righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but God overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness." "By the way, Chef, it might be a couple of our regular delivery guys tomorrow morning," Wayne told him as they shook hands. As long as they bring me such lovely produce in an unmarked truck, that's fine, he said as Wayne and Jean headed to the truck, holding hands. Wayne and Jean both turned around. Yes? Wayne responded. When you get through with the last delivery, come on back as my honored guest in my private dining room. I'll feed you some of Bill's steaks and some lovely produce I just had delivered. The chef laughed. And don't worry, you're dressed plenty fancy enough for me. Besides, you will have to park here and come in this way. Thanks, we'll see you then, Wayne and Jean both said as Wayne opened the door for Jean and helped her up into the unmarked truck. Mark stopped at the bank on the way to pick up Gwen and Trish. I need to withdraw as much cash as I can without closing this account, he told the teller. Soon he was on his way with what money was left, which wasn't much, after he bought his mother the diamond cross necklace for her birthday and gave money for maternity clothes. Come on in, Trish answered the door and invited Mark inside Gwen's apartment. Gwen was on the phone. Hello, this is Gwen Whitaker. Fine, and you? Good. Do you still have Home and Cedarville Todd there? Great. Would you get a message to them, please? Their granddaughter, Trish, will be visiting them this afternoon. I just didn't want them to have a heart attack when they see her. No, we'll have lunch before we arrive, and we will leave before the evening meal. Thank you. Goodbye. Gwen hung up the phone and greeted Mark with a hug and a kiss. I need to make one more call, but my bag is over there if you want to load it for me, she said to Mark. You got it. Mark smiled and picked up the bag. Hello, this is Gwen Whitaker. Do you still have Travis Todd there? Great. Would you give him a message, please? Would you tell him his sister Trish will be visiting him in the morning? I just didn't want him to go into shock or something when he sees her. Yes, she will be eating lunch with him, and she'll be paying for that visitor's tray in the office. No, I will eat lunch elsewhere. No, we'll be leaving way before the evening meal. Thank you. Gwen hung up the phone, realizing she just made 2 long-distance phone calls that would make her bill even higher. God, you got this phone bill too, and this whole trip, she whispered as she picked up her Sunny Hills Nursing Home beeper and put it in the bright yellow briefcase with Sunny Hills Nursing Home printed on the side.